Taehyung was keep checking his messages, but Ryan didn't reply to his any of the texts. He was very stressed with the work and studies, but more because of Ryan ignoring him. His decision of breaking up with her was not because he stopped loving her, but he wanted her to think about everything rationally. He doesn't want Ryan to choose him just because they are engaged. He wanted her to choose her happiness, unbiased. Now everyone at college knows that they are avoiding each other, and he knows that he have to talk his family and hers too. He is ready to fight for everyone for her happiness. He sighed when she didn't answer his call. Instead, Taehyung started to check their pictures together, and that brought a smile on his face, a sad one. I wish I met you earlier, then you would have loved me first. What's happening between you and Taehyung Oppa? I can see why, and you are acting like he doesn't even exist. While I see him many times looking at your direction, but you are not talking with him. At first, I thought it's your personal matter, so I don't need to interfere. But now, whole college having rumor that you guys broke up because of Jungkook. But how when you still wearing that ring? Oh my, I'm going insane now. Ryan sighed looking at her best friend. She is not moved to explain everyone anything, as she feels too tired since the meeting with Taehyung. She has been crying non-stop, as feel drained out. So yeah, I'm not in mood, please. Oh yeah, sure. If you're not going to tell me, then I gotta go and ask from Taehyung Oppa by myself. As she was about to get up, and Ryan stopped her. No, wait. She sighed again for nth time that day. I will tell you, please don't ask from him. Just give me some time. I don't feel okay today. You don't believe me? I do, but then wait, I'll tell you everything. I bought this for you. He shows her the pack of choco cookies, and that somehow brought a smile to her face, remembering the past. Where did you get it? I can't find them anymore. She asked amused, seeing her favorite choco cookies again. Jungkook shrugged with a small smile, saying nothing. Let's not practice. Let's just dance like old times. One thing that she and Jungkook got paired up together for college annual function, and at first she wanted to deny due to current circumstances, but Jungkook assured her, and it's not like they are doing any crime. Those people who talking behind her are nothing to Ryan. She remembers about the moment Jungkook was trying to teach her dance, and he was quite amazed how good she is at that. He wanted her to join, but she denied, saying she wanted to focus on her studies. They got another chance to dance with each other, and this time she didn't deny, as she needed those marks comes from extracurricular activities. Sure, now the situation is reversed. It's Jungkook who is trying to make her happy, and she's angry on Taehyung now. And she knows she needed to talk with him, but she is still upset and waiting for Tae to approach her. But he just stared at her from afar, didn't approach her, so she didn't either. If Tae would be a bad person, it could be a lot easier to leave him, but he isn't, and that's what it is. They are really fighting like a couple now. Before they used to have small disagreement, but this is the biggest fight she had with Taehyung ever. She focused on current moment with Jungkook, but her thoughts travel back to Taehyung every time. Her and Jungkook danced on few songs, trying to find a perfect song to show their chemistry, until he played a song and started singing with it. It feels like old times, the way they used to be, before so happy with each other. Everything was good though, when they were just friends. She didn't know that they both just harboring feelings for each other. Now after 3 years, they are standing in front of each other again. But Jungkook take 2 steps back as he started singing the first phrase of the song. He calls her with his hands, displaying the emotion that he can't say directly, and Ryan stared at him, seeing the emotion and sadness on his face, with mixture of gratefulness that she is here with him right in this moment together. Vi knows that she can't control her feelings for Jungkook, and the thing you can't control, you should leave it free. And for now, in this moment, she let herself free from anything, openly expressing herself in front of him, whatever she truly feels right now. Each line breaking her heart furthermore, but no one except her knows the truth. And she also knows it isn't easy for her and Jungkook. Right in this moment, she let herself feel all the emotions she had tried to hide or buried deep inside for so long, as they both sharing the same symphony while dancing with each other, letting out all everything they can't say in normal words. As they finished the whole song, breathing close to each other, Jungkook looking at her expectantly, while Van shutting her eyes tightly looking down, he expecting her to say that she feels the same, that she can hear his heartbeat and he can hers. He was about to cup her face, but she moved away, looking at him, the most heartbreaking expression Jungkook ever saw on her face. His eyes traveled to the pendant she is wearing, and somehow he guessed that it's Taehyung's gift for her. It's beautiful, he not gonna lie. But first, he see her standing so near, yet so far, those distant emotion in her eyes, as she says the last line of the song. With one last look of his face, she grabs her bag and bottle in hurry as Jungkook seeing her panicking, and before he can say anything or stop her, she already left. Ryan told Soyoung everything, how she cannot when Soyoung find her red eyes, and she also can't stop her best friend for knowing everything. It was shocking for Soyoung to the extent that she apologized to her talking all these things in front of her about Jungkook without knowing the fact that Ryan and Jungkook share a past, well much more than that. Ryan feels grateful though for Soyoung's presence as someone is there, someone she can talk about her feelings openly, someone who doesn't judge her because of her past. It's okay, Ryan. I don't even know how you're dealing all this all alone. For God knows how much period. If I would be your place, I might have murdered both Taehyung and Jungkook for messing up my mind like this. And that somehow that brought a chuckle from Ryan, knowing she wanted to light up the heavy atmosphere. No, but seriously, I would done that because I value my peace of mind more than anything. And these two guys still never know when a girl falls for someone, they fell harder. It's not easy to move on easily, and I can clearly understand your messed up emotions. Why you don't need to beat the shit out of your head. Don't stress yourself anymore. The words somehow she didn't knew she needed to hear. Listen to it, because it can never be wrong. Just go with the flow, and that let the emotions rest you. In fact, I'm happy Taehyung decided to give you space, as it can be hectic. He had give you a chance to think properly, so don't waste it. Just listen to it, follow where it brought you, and after all, you are my best friend. I know you won't take any wrong decision. I'm here for you, whether you'll decide. I won't judge you. How can I when I'm not going through it? Ryan hugged Soyoung tightly afterwards, feeling little light after sharing everything with her. It was the day of her performance with Jungkook, and she was so nervous in the past week. They didn't talk about the hurtful moment they shared, rather focus on their practice more. One and two times, Taehyung bumped to her in hallway, and she had small conversation about her participation, and he says he didn't have time, nothing more. But every time she looks at his sad face, it broke something inside that she didn't figure out yet. She didn't know when he started to occupy most of her thoughts. She shakes her head to not think about Taehyung anymore, as the next performance is her and Jungkook. They step on the stage together, and somehow her eyes landed on Taehyung, sitting beside Soyoung. Again she found him in all those crowds. So he came. Taehyung's smile widened as their eyes locked with each other. He mouthed her fighting, showing his face, and that somehow brought a smile to her face too, without knowing someone watching their interaction with a sad smile. Crystal was there. She also noticed her in the crowd. Maybe came here to support Jungkook. Vine wasn't aware about the fact that Crystal's mother is a professor here. She got to know from Jungkook. As students clap for them before going mute, the music plays in the background. She stared at Jungkook's eyes deeply, staring within them, trying to find the answer of her mixed-up emotions. He whispered something in her ears, which breaks her heart into million pieces. In this moment, can you see me as your first, as I'm the only person you are in love with? He doesn't need to ask, because he'll always be her first. Vine didn't understand that the feeling she didn't accept for herself was already seen by Jungkook, even before she can even realize. Vine stands in the middle of the stage, while Jungkook at the end, and he started his line first. As Jungkook lifted his gaze to look into her eyes deeply, slowly approaching her with a small smile, and Vine's heartbeat quickens for an entirely different reason. She noticed his eyes shimmering as they stand close face to face. As the lights finally off and everyone becomes silent, anticipating for what's coming next, Vine and Jungkook stand in the middle as spotlight fell on them. She feels so nervous than ever because it's her lines next, but Jungkook assures her with his eyes to follow his steps. They started moving to the beat, the gradually following in rhythm, with Vine lost in her thought as she reminiscing about her and Jungkook's movement since beginning. As soon as they reached to the main choreography, their eyes started to tear up. Still smiling through their eyes, it felt like goodbye song. As the song finished, Vine came out of her trance. She forgot about her surrounding for a moment, staring in each other's eyes. The loud noise of clapping filled the auditorium, and those who ever witnessed their performance was praising for their great chemistry together. They separated themselves from each other, smiling at everyone, and Vine looks in the audience to notice Taehyung wasn't sitting there anymore, while Soyoung looking at her with sadness. She rushed to backstage, but in the midway Jungkook held her hand. Vine, listen to me. He grabbed her wrist, stopping her from going anywhere. Till when you going to pretend that you don't love me? Jungkook, I need to go. She replied and was about to leave. He jerked her body to collide together as they breathed closely. Tell me you love me, Vine, please. He was desperate and she was agitated. Tell me again that you love me, cause I'm losing my mind, please. Then run away with me. Ryan, come on, we're getting late. Everyone is waiting for you, love. He called his girlfriend, standing outside her gate, who was busy with her makeup. One more minute. I'm almost ready, she replied from the other side. Jungkook stood at the gate, crossing his hands over his chest, staring at her girlfriend with a small smile. You don't need to put that much makeup, you know. He says, standing behind her. You look beautiful barefaced more. Trust me, you won't. He says, kissing on her back of head. They all love you so much and waiting to saw you eagerly. That's what making me nervous. Don't be, I'll be there for you, remember. We're in this together. She nodded, smiling from the mirror, looking at his boyfriend's charming face. Ryan and Jungkook arrived at his house, and she took a deep breath before entering, which Jungkook found adorable, but she made him for making fun of her nervousness. What? I was nervous too when you introduced me to your family. I'm more nervous. What if they don't like me? And before he can answer, they heard the loud screams. It was Jungkook's sister. Mom, Dad, they are here. She screamed, feeling excited as she grabbed Ryan's hand, practically dragging inside the house, and Jungkook just chuckled, knowing how much excited his family is to meet his girlfriend already. Somi introduced Ryan to everyone cheerful, and Ryan started to feel relaxed with them as they are very warm and welcoming to her. Jungkook just stand behind her, seeing talking with his family. His dad acted strict before when Jungkook said he had girlfriend, and her mom practically asking him all kinds of questions, where is she from, what she does, and now they even forget about their own son's presence in the room. It's good to know he doesn't mind, in fact feel happy to know them welcomed Ryan so affectionately. Everyone felt silence once they heard the slow steps of someone with the stick entering in hall, listening all the noises. What's all the noises, huh? Can't I read my book in peace? She says, but as her eyes focused on the new person in her house, who is none other than Ryan, she froze in the spot. Jungkook came near and grabbed Ryan's waist, introducing his girlfriend to his grandmother. Harmony, she is Kim Ryan, my girlfriend. He replied, blushing little as Ryan bowed to the old lady in respect, but the grandmother was staring at her without saying anything, as if she lost in her own thought. Ryan felt a little nervous, thinking that she didn't like her presence in her house, and Jungkook senses his girlfriend's stiff reaction, so he called her grandmother, but she cut him. Harmony, you look like someone I know from my past, she finally replied, and everyone looks at her confused. Are you from Kim family? Ryan nodded, feeling nervous than before over the interrogation. What's your father's name? Mr. Kim Sung-hyun, Harmony. He's a great businessman as far as I'm aware. Ryan nodded slightly, can't understand sudden interrogation about her family. What's your grandfather's name? Kim Taehyung, Harmony. Once more Ryan replied politely, but somehow Grandma's eyes widened and Jungkook's focused on Ryan and can see she doesn't feel okay. Harmony, why are you asking this question? She's here to meet you all and you keep asking her about her family. You better not to talk to me like this. She hit his grandson with her metal stick as he groaned and saw me chuckle in the background. Ryan couldn't hide her smile too. Everyone, let's talk later. The food is going to be cold. Please follow me to dining room. They all follow Mrs. Jeon's order and Somi helped her grandma to sit on her wheelchair as she has problem in her joints and can't walk with the help of her stick. After the dinner, Ryan felt comfortable with Jungkook's grandmother as she is a friendly woman, just looked cold from outside. They were with grandma in her room. She had noticed room filled with quite old vintage things with few photo frames of their family. Sweet moments together with Jungkook frame of toddler to teen. She smiled looking at it. And lastly, a picture of Jungkook's grandma and his husband in their wedding attires. It's only frame she found grandma had put near her bed. They look so young in the picture, and man's resemblance to Jungkook left her shocked. She didn't know they have so many similarities. She thought Jungkook was joking with her when he told her that his name is Jungkook because he looks like his grandfather. They're practically each other's carbon copy. Jungkook looks so much like his grandfather. After all, they are family. She couldn't stop herself from asking grandmother about Jungkook's grandfather, as how they met, what's their story, as she's also about to take an important step in her life with Jungkook. They both sat on the chair kept near the open balcony, as now grandma lost in her memory lane, trying to remember few things, and first thing she said, that they were friends since high school. She has secret feelings for Jungkook's grandpa, but he never looks at her that way. Was busy with other girls until one girl came to his life and they become friends. All well so much that she started to feel jealous of them since Jungkook's grandfather never looked at her that way. She told that she tried to separate them. Till this day she feels guilty about it as she saw him crying for her. Grandma realized that he had made a big mistake, so she tried to correct it by bringing them together with the help of her mother. Ryan was listening everything closely as Jungkook sitting beside her. Grandma told that she knew where that girl was, as her mother told her about. She planned to bring them together by forcing Jungkook's grandpa to enroll in that university, and later he came to her saying that he found her and even confessed. Grandma told that the girl was also in very much still love with Jungkook's grandfather, but she told that Jungkook's grandfather was dead because the girl was already engaged to someone else, and that person was very nice human being. Ryan don't know why her heart constricted painfully listening all of this. So they didn't end up together. But her voice broke as she couldn't able to say anything. Sometimes your heart needs more time to accept what your mind already knows. Jungkook knows that it's not easy for Ryan to leave him. I know you love me, Ryan, and I know you love him too. But I'm your past and he's your present, and most probably future too. He says with his trembling lips, knowing how hard it is for him to say those words to her. He knows it's hard for Ryan to let go of him, and so he decided to help her, showing her what's best for her, and it's not him. He is broken, and he broke Ryan too. He never wanted. It was unintentional, but he can make everything right now. He had created problem by coming between them. He just wants Ryan's happiness, and he knows Taehyung will keep her happy. I don't know what to do, Jungkook. Whatever I do, someone is going to hurt, and I don't want to hurt anyone. He tightened his hold on her. God knows when he'll be this close to her again. People are already hurting Ryan, and your indecisiveness is making things more complicated, he says as he cares his hair, separating her from the hug. He put up a brave mask for her. Listen, Ryan, I had hurted you before, broke so much that you become like this, and I think I deserve it. But Taehyung, he was always beside you, and he mended your broken heart, so he deserved to be with you. Ryan looks down, biting her lips so hard to draw out the blood, to hold a sob as she can't meet her eyes with Jungkook at this moment because she knows if she did, she might do something she'll regret later. I will always be with you. Your bunny will always there for you. Remember that. She couldn't able to hold back herself, but instead of going to lips, she kissed him on the cheeks near to his lips. He was shocked and frozen there. In my next life, promise, you will find me first, and when the time comes, you'll confess to me, Jungkook. I won't leave you until you say so. Please promise me. She was desperate, and he was breaking every cell of him to let out those words. Jungkook leaned down and kissed her forehead, staying there for a few seconds as the kiss lingered and Ryan held him tightly. I promised you, Kim Ryan, in my next life I will be yours and you will be mine. She smiled tearfully at his words. They smiled together. Before Ryan heard the voice of Taehyung as if he's on the stage and singing. She doesn't know he participated too. Jungkook noticed how her face changes as she recognized Taehyung's voice. It was love, he knows. Ryan looks back at Jungkook as if asking for permission and he nodded. Go, he said with a bright smile, creating a distance between them by bringing his hands to his pocket, but she didn't budge. Go, Ryan, before it's too late. With one last look of her first love, which she always treasured in her mind and heart, a part of her will always stay with Jungkook because that solely belongs to him and no one can touch it, not even Ryan herself, because he's safe inside there, untouchable. Jungkook's resolve crumbled as she left him all alone backstage, and his body shook violently as he sat on the knee, crying, hiding his face with his hands. But someone took him in her arms as he looks at her. I did the right thing, Crystal, but I don't know why it's hurting so bad, he says, clutching his chest, where his heart located. She'll be more happy with him, right? She nodded, hugging him tightly. Yeah, she'll be more happy with him. She just repeated after him. Can't control her own tears. She had tried to bring them close, but it looked like fate has other plans. The regret of separating them will always stay with her until she dies. Ryan stand in front of stage, looking at Taehyung singing a song. When their eyes met, she felt goosebumps all over her body because she knew that he's singing this song for her. She didn't know when her steps guide her to near Taehyung. As they stand close together after he finishes a song, looking straight in his eyes, asking nothing but bearing his soul right in front of her to accept him, a man who had waited for her patiently, who had with her when she was at her worst. She has hurted him, but he's still there, waiting for her. They stare at each other, and Ryan closed the gap between them as a loud cheer erupted the whole auditorium, and Taehyung grabbed her waist, bringing her closer. He got the answer he was looking for after avoiding each other for weeks. That's such a heartbreaking story, Harmony. I almost feel bad for Haraboji now. He replied, feeling upset. If I were at his place, I would never let go her. It's easy to stay together, but it's hard to let go, Jungkook. Your Harabachi knew that if he chooses to stay together, they might end up like his parents. She replied, seeing little anger on his face, but it fades as soon as he knows the reason. Ryan sat beside. Jungkook lost in her thought, and Grandma looks at her and told Jungkook to bring her some water. What happened, Ryan? You look so lost in your thoughts, she asked, caressing her hair. Anya Harmony, it's just, I don't know, I feel so connected to this story, somehow. Maybe because my mother also told me about my grandmother's first love, which was not my grandpa, and when I was little, I had read her diary. The story seems familiar. It can't be. Don't think about it so much. It's all in the past now. Jungkook bring the water for Ryan, and they bid goodbye to his family. It's getting late, and he needs to drop Ryan safely at her home before 10 p.m. Jungkook and Ryan were sitting in his car, but she was staring outside, so silent, and that's very unusual of her. So Jungkook parked his car at the side. She looked at him, crying, and he was shocked to see tears in her eyes as he unbuckled her seat belts and brings her to his lap. "Why are you crying, love?" he asked softly, caressing her waist to calm her down. "Jungkook, please don't leave me ever." Huh? He was confused at first, but guessed that it's grandma's story still bothering her. He brings her closer to. "I will never do the mistake of leaving you ever, Ryan, cause I know how hard it's to see someone you love is with someone else, and I'm not Grandpa Jungkook, so what I resembles to him a lot, and they gave me his name, but I'm your Jungkook. I'm Ryan's Jungkook, and you're Jungkook's Ryan." He grabbed her chin, bringing their face closer, and this Ryan's Jungkook promised to his Ryan that he'll never leave her, ever. Not even that can separate us. Words that are more sacred than any wedding vows. She finally smiled at his words, and he smiled seeing her smile.